Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon by talking about the films, obviously programs like their documentaries, TV shows, and what have you, I guess. So I'm bringing another episode where I'll be talking about lost cinema. Well, so basically, the overall idea here is that let's talk about movies that were supposed to have been made, and for whatever reason, they didn't. It could be money problems. It could be maybe creative differences. A bunch of number of different problems could vary and get in the process of filmmaking. The specific film that you want to do. Even getting into the film industry, that is a feat on its own. And just because you've somehow made it doesn't necessarily mean your movie's gonna be made. Not that saying it won't. Sometimes it just won't. So maybe sometimes it feels better, and I guess that kind of depends what what that is, I suppose. So even that could vary, obviously. The different changes, good changes, bad changes. But point being is that a number of different things can potentially get in the way when you get into film industry. So yeah, just think about something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a part of a franchise, though. It is not limited to being a part of a franchise. This could be even a standalone movie, or standalone movies that become franchises, which does happen, of course. So this is just my way of trying to explore some ideas, movies, and whatnot that were supposed to have been done, but for whatever reason they were canned. And yeah, but for the future I'm talking about, of course, it refers to being in limbo for quite some time, or production hell, if you want to call it, for nearly 100 years. So it's just that alone makes it more of a surprise that it became a surprise hit. So yeah, there's that obviously. So it just makes me wonder, what had occurred. Even though this movie I'm about to mention, even though I've mentioned more than one version, yes, I've talked about this movie before more than once. So here we go again, I suppose. It's a princess movie, and it's something I mentioned quite a few times. Yes, the first Frozen film. And yeah, the thing is that this idea was not Walt Disney's vision, what he had in mind. So, what he had in mind was quite different than what was ultimately made. So, what was actually made was not the same movie he had in mind. It was completely different altogether. For better or for worse, there you go. He had some other individual that he wanted to be of this project, and it was going to be this guy right here, folks. So, this individual, yeah, he's definitely this Polish-born American film producer. He was best known for funding these types of movies or and be executive of several motion pictures studios in Hollywood. So yeah, that's the thing, folks. He was definitely he's very well known. He was definitely one of the best out there when it comes to being part of movies, of course. So the thing is that the idea for the animated movie it came from the movie filmmaker Walt Disney himself, and the film producer I just mentioned a moment ago were interested in making a biological, like a biological live action animation hybrid movie. So it was going to be a mixture of the two. It was going to be a live action and animation type of movie hybrid based on a lot of the works of the author of Hans Christian Sen, of course, who made the book The Ice Queen. So yeah, it's going to be like a biological type of movie. The live action segments of the movie will be the certain segments, of course. So yeah, it's going to be a biological type of movie and would have been filmed and would be produced by the one individual just a moment ago, while the animated segments would have been based upon the certain stories by the one author, of course, and those segments would have been animated by Walt Disney himself. Of course, obviously, this is going to be based on the book, The Snow Queens. The other thing is that So yeah, it's gonna be a biological type of movie with the live action segments and animation. So okay, it's gonna be one of those type of hybrid type of movies. Seems rather ambitious for the time of course, because when you think about it, maybe at the same time they didn't have the type of technology that we have now. So yeah, nowadays it will be a far more easier compared to back then because the camera equipment and whatnot were far more primitive than now, of course. So yes, this was actually going to be fairly tricky, of course. So yeah, it would have been interesting to see how things would have turned out if they would actually go in this direction. However, of course, obviously there was going to be some issues, of course. So the thing is that yeah, some issues arose when adapting the Snow Queen as the studio struggled to adapt the story for a modern day audience. Well, okay, a modern day audience at the time anyway. So yeah, things got in the way. So they were trying to come up with some sort of way on how to adapt this specific idea and whatnot. How can they get the story itself in the way they want to do? In other words, the specifications in which they wanted to cover the story. Make sure it's suitable in the way they wanted to do it for this kind of grand audience and whatnot. Again, at the time, of course. But yeah, it just seems there would be some difficulty in this kind of a thing, of course, and whatnot. But yeah, Disney and the other producer I just mentioned were pretty much determined in what they wanted to do. So yeah, they want to do this kinds of stuff, of course, do it like a hybrid kind of a thing, of course. And yes, it would have been great to have just seen this, obviously, if this was actually done. But unfortunately, it wasn't. This guy, yeah, adapting the story, like we were saying a moment ago, that was going to be problematic, of course. And to make this entire thing, to make it more complicated, furthermore, the production at what occurred during World War II, when Walt Disney's attention shifted his focus into producing wartime animation and whatnot. Yeah, placed the entire production on hold. Yeah, World War II happened. So eventually, yeah, this kept being placed on hold, then on hold, and delayed after delay after delay after delay after delay after delay, of course. So, yikes. Eventually, as you can get yourself, of course, this project was eventually canceled because, yeah, uh, I guess you would say because politics got in the way and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, that's not me trying to slam politics or anything because I don't mind talking about that kind of a thing. It's fine. But unfortunately, yeah, that got in the way, folks. So, yeah, it pretty much halted the production as a result of this, of course. Yeah, specifically to be more exact, he canceled plans for the animated segments, of course. And the thing is that the producer I mentioned a moment ago, yeah, the one guy I mentioned earlier, folks. Yeah, this individual here, folks, he would later on actually make a live action musical film based on this idea that he would have done. So yeah, he kind of got what he wanted to some extent, I guess. Still wonder what could have been though. I mean, I did enjoy the film, of course, but I'm just wondering. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah, later.